Hi, I'm Uhuru Mufukeng and welcome to the South African Book Review Sessions, your online political book club where everything political literature is viviscated, eviscerated, and dissected. Guys, thank you for all of you who've been subscribing to my channel. We've been growing in leaps and bounds. It's only our third day, but we've been doing quite well. Thank you very much. And thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the feedback. We've received serious feedback. If you might notice changes from today's videos going forth, it's because of the feedback we've been receiving from all of you. And thank you very much. All feedback is welcomed from anyone. We're growing together. We're trying this thing. Today, we are discussing something rather very interesting. The book is called War Party. It's written by Greg Arde. It says, War Party, how the ANC's political killings are breaking South Africa. Well, first and foremost, you can tell the book is quite catchy. When I got to Exclusive Books to do my monthly shopping, I immediately had my attention grabbed by this book. First and foremost, because of the logo. They've actually managed to replace the spear with an AK-47. Like, wow. They replaced the spear with an AK-47. And I realized that these are not just decorations. These are actually gunshots. This resembles gunshots. Gunshots from the AK-47. This yellow is the yellow of the ANC, and this red is the bloodshed. Very scary stuff. Petrifying. Like, it caught my attention, and decided, you know what, let me take my chances with it. Let me see what it has in store. And guys, I do not regret buying this book. I will give it a rating at the end, but then I want you to know I just did not regret for a second buying this book. Now, why should we be reading this book about party killings, ANC killings and stuff? In KZN alone, from the year 2000 to the year 2016, there have been over 132 political assassinations. Over 132. That's in a 16-year period. There've been, in the same period, there's been over 458 taxi hits. Someone needs to explain that. Someone needs to collect all of that data and try make sense for all of us who might be far from the situation. And this is the outcome of such research. It's a beautifully researched book. It was assiduous, years of involvement with taxi violence, with political assassinations, has delivered this wonderful masterpiece by Greg Arde. This is a book of greed. This is a book about greed. It's a book about corruption. It's a book about malfeasance. It's a book about money laundering. It's a book about political dominance from the most questionable characters you'd find. It is an indictment to the ruling party. It is a charge sheet on what it claims to be on paper and what it has become. Reading this book, at moments, I got so shocked, I got so angry, I had so many questions, but then each and every time I got angry, I'd drop the book and leave, go out for a smoke, but then I'd always come back to it. It's written very well. The person who wrote this book clearly knows this thing, and from when you read the book and the way he wrote the book, clearly he's been involved with the sort of killings for some time, because he encounters a lot of personal experiences, some of them quite touchy. The book is divided, is written, is the book layout is quite wonderful. As I've already said, the cover is very catchy. What really I liked about this book is if you probably watch the video on young Mandela, you'll find the link on the description below. We complained about a table of content and index. This one has it very great. It has a table of content and index, and it guides you. As I said, an index, a table of content, is like a first date in a relationship. It makes you expect, like it gives you some sense of expectation of what you're about to find, what you get yourself into. Now, the book is divided into 3 parts. The first part is titled The Feeling Kills of KZN. The second part is titled Taxi Violence. The third part is titled The City and the Party. The first part, The Feeling Kills of KZN, it speaks of the smaller towns surrounding Durban and Pietermaritzburg. Yes, it does speak partly of Pietermaritzburg, but Pietermaritzburg is a big city. But then it does speak of it a few times, but then speaks about the smaller towns. Like, for example, it speaks about Umzimkhulu. It speaks about even Newcastle. It's got a chapter 3 of the first part. It's titled Blood Flows in the Doctor's Town. The doctor is the mayor of Newcastle, Dr. Ntutugo Mahlaba. He mentions him here. He talks about his alleged involvement in a number of hideous, yo man, if you can see, I have goosebumps talking about this. Some serious allegations, and the disappearance of people, the disappearance of witnesses, the dying. So get this, guys, I do not want to get too much into details because I might find myself implicating people here and I'm targeted. And hey, this book has made me rather a bit paranoid. So I'll be very careful of what I say about this book, or else, hey, guys. But anyway, they talk about how a number of politicians have risen in smaller towns using the iron fist and the barrel of a gun, saying how they alienated oppositions, how they silenced critics, how they got away with serious corruptions, and whoever blew the whistle would just be gunned down and it will be business as usual. Yes, the book does speak about a number of convictions, how many people were convicted. But if you look at the statistics and the contents of the book and the number of unsolved cases compared to the conviction, the rate between the two, not too much convictions. The conviction rate is not convincing at all. But yes, there are a number of people, including ANC councillors. In one instance, guys, a branch chairperson and a branch secretary, who both happen to be ward and peer councillor respectively, as we're speaking today, they're serving life sentence for a murder on another activist from one of those abahlali basemjondo, the Shack Dwellers Association. So guys, very shocking stuff. Serious indictment to the African National Congress. It speaks also of the taxi violence. It goes back to the history of the taxi violence, how the taxi violence, how of the taxi industry, how big the taxi industry is. Guys, the taxi industry is huge, is humongous, it's massive. It brings in an estimated 90 billion rand of revenue annually. And this business is largely untaxed. People usually, it's a big business with too many beneficiaries. Starting from the upper, it's a pyramid. You can look at it from downwards and up, or upwards. It's up to you, but it's a huge pyramid with insurance companies, with car dealerships, with the state benefiting. The state does benefit from this whole thing. With this guys pay a lot of tax levy. There's a lot of taxes through the fuel levy. They pay a lot of taxes through insurance. They pay a lot of taxes through the purchase of the vehicles. So this guy is actually, it's a big industry, and and everyone wants the piece of the cake. It is. If you look at it from a distance, you may think it is unregulated, but these guys have managed to regulate themselves and have become, to some extent, a law unto themselves. It speaks of the book tells us that there has been 458 hits in KZN alone from 2000 till 2016, costing a number of lives. And a huge portion of those affected by these things were passengers, people who did not know anything. In this book, they tell of a story of how a mother lost two of her young children. One was 3 and the other was 5, because of taxi violence. They were driving in a taxi on their way to Port Shepstone, and men in another car came by and they shot. They shot, and the children didn't survive. The mother was shot as well, but she later survived. The children didn't survive. When it's one of those pieces the author wrote during working for one of these local newspapers in Durban. So he recalls the story a story he wrote many years ago. Very, very sad story. So this book actually talks of excruciating pain caused by, amongst other things, taxi violence. But then the book, it tells us, and it mentions a number of people, key stakeholders in the taxi industry, and it gives it gives the title of the biggest taxi family to the Gaba family. The Gaba family, which are brothers. Their father was murdered during the feuds with Busfiso Kabinda. It's also written in the first chapter. It says that is the biggest family. It talks about them here. It also has an interview with Mbali Ntuli, I think. Is it Mbali Ntuli, the former leader of the DA youth, that who's a KZN member of the legislature right now. She's being interviewed here, and apparently she came from a family. Her father was called Big Ben, and yeah, the man didn't take no prisoners. No. So he died of malaria with a bounty of about 250,000 in his head some time long ago. But it's an interesting book. It's a very interesting book. And on the taxi violence, it links the taxi violence to political protection. And it talks of a big security industry, a security industry which is largely unregulated, whereby SIRA is failing to actually regulate the industry. The book claims that the industry, the security industry, the taxi security industry in KZN alone is twice as big as the South African police service, and they've got so much ammunition, and they have the capacity of being the law unto themselves. And this book, in the same light, it speaks of a corrupt police force, a corrupt police service which is inept at best and incapacitated at worst. But then it does say that a number of charges, a number of convictions have been secured. And sometimes in the interview, he's got an interview with Bheki Chelene, and the minister claims that the police are doing their job. People are not doing their job. It's the National Prosecuting Authority. Well, we don't know. We don't know, man. But at the end of the day, most of these people have run free. They talk about a number of people. Lastly, the most interesting chapter in the book for me was the final chapter, the city and the party. In the final two chapters, the man moors the ANC. The man moors the ANC, and mooring the ANC in this case is very justifiable. But he starts with a disclaimer first, and he does say that, you know what, they are good comrades of the African National Congress. He will indicate them here through whistleblowers who were some were killed, some live in fear, some have been ostracized, some have been shot and survived and been shot again with their children shot. Your people's lives have been devastated just for standing up for the truth, for standing up against corruption, for being proper ANC comrades. People have seen the graves. It does speak of Sindiso Magaqa, obviously. It speaks of him in the first chapters, in the early chapters. But then there are so many of these comrades who've been killed and been murdered for taking a stance in defending the integrity of the organization that might have deployed them there, in taking a stance in actually standing up against corruption in defense of the people and the services they deserve to be receiving from a democratically elected state. The book explicitly claims and states that the municipality of ethekwini collapsed, not really collapsed, but the system's corruption thrived and flourished in ethekwini municipality during the reign of former President Comrade Jacob Zuma. It speaks of how his cronies and family members would come and share amongst themselves, share contracts amongst themselves. And this book charges the man. It says under his presidency, that municipality saw a lot of hardships, and then it charges that during the same reign, a lot of people died, and a lot of people got arrested. Councillors getting arrested of the same municipalities, people getting charged. Some are still attending cases. It indicts. It has a special chapter dedicated to the former mayor, Mama Zandile Kumete. Very interesting chapter. It has been titled. It has been titled. When I saw the book and I looked at the table of content and I saw this, I knew. To me, this is the name, chapter 22. When you are good to Mama. Okay, there's only one Mama there. It was so obvious to me that no, they're speaking about the old lady. So basically, guys, this is a fantastic book. It left me angry a couple of times. People are so thoughtless. People have taken the organization, have messed around with it. Another indictment this book makes: the ANC and its management of its membership system has cost it dearly. A number of these men whom are accused of really hideous and terrifying, murderous, cold-blooded crimes are members of and leaders of the African National Congress, some of them, and some are pure hitmen aligned to the ANC, but the three most notorious of them all were members of the IFP before. So this means to me that the African National Congress, in its quest to grab the province away from the control of the IFP, was willing to do anything, break any ethos, welcome anyone for as long as it's going to weaken the opposition and strengthen its position on the polls. Do anything to get to the polls. Anything, even if it means taking people who have nothing to do with the organization, people by their mere presence and membership of the organization they put in the organization into disrepute. The membership issue is not a new issue. It's been there before. And had the ANC managed to manage the membership properly, some of these people whom are accused of hideous crimes and murders and cold-blooded third-degree murders, attempted murders, conspiracy to commit murder, would not have been part of the African National Congress. If proper vetting was done and if proper attention was given to the value systems of the African National Congress, which clearly in this province right now, looking at this book, it shows you that, hey, there's a big challenge. There's a big challenge. The book tells you that there was a stage every weekend somewhere in KZN they'll be bearing a councillor or a leader of the ANC Youth League. It got to a stage whereby they were burying members of the South African Communist Party, but all of these times members of the ANC were being buried. There is Nkabi which were used in all of these hits. According to these books, they're being recruited from rural areas like Fawa, Nongoma and so forth. They're being recruited from hostels. They're being recruited from the taxi industry. The taxi industry, according to this book, hides a lot, it moves a lot of money, a lot of guns, a lot of drugs, and it's being moved by killers themselves with the protection of politicians and big business. This book has made me believe that KZN at a stage was a mafia province and is moving towards a mafia province if not thoroughly managed, and that might slip in towards the rest of the country if we do not manage the situation directly. There have been a lot of commissions of inquiry. One special one is the Mwerane Commission, which also makes a number of recommendations, but then it was shelved and it was put under there. It is an incredible book. It is an incredible book. It will leave you angry multiple times. It will leave you petrified. It will leave you sometimes. You see, I was in the army for a couple of years. I finished matric and went straight to the army. So things of bloodshed and gunshots don't usually leave me scared, but not in this case. Sometimes I even would have dreams of some of these things I'm reading here. I remember the other night I had a dream of myself and other cadres passing each other weapons. They're trying to defend ourselves against these other comrades who are coming to shoot us. But because of that's how much this book got to me. It's a very sad story. To comrades of KZN who are activists and who are proud members of the African National Congress who live by its value system, comrades, we wish that you could multiply and assist save the African National Congress of Herigwad. What is happening, according to this book, is very sad. But looking at the PEC of the ANC, but look at the provincial secretary, Comrade Ntuli, oh, what an inspiration. And when we look at him, we see inspiration and we believe that this can be quelled and we can find ourselves looking at a different KZN with a 10 around in its statistics on taxi hits and political assassinations. My overall rating of this book is a 9, guys. Is a 9. This is the best book I've read the whole year. It dealt with my emotions. It got me angry. It got me agitated. It got me flabbergasted. It made me this is what a book's supposed to do. It's what a book's supposed to do. And it's what journalism is all about. Proper investigative journalism. And I enjoyed reading every second of this book. I highly recommend it. Like you guys, highly recommend this book. You'd understand when people are unhappy with the ANC in other places. It's because of things like this. It's because of things like this. Yo, chaps, this book. No, man, you guys should get this book. Guys should get this book. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time.